Hello friends, today in this tutorial we will be talking about DOM. What is DOM? It stands for Document Object Model. So we will be looking at how to access elements inside DOM. So every browser has its own DOM model. So specifically we will be looking at the HTML and the XML. We will be taking real world examples and we will try to understand what is DOM and how we can access elements. So this will be a short little whiteboard animation video, so you will be easily be understanding what is DOM. So please hit that like button, subscribe to channel as well. So now guys, in this slide we will be looking at the full form of DOM terminology. So what is the full form of it? So basically it stands for Document Object Model. So these three words have some significance here, so we need to understand these three words in detail. So this document here, basically guys, in this animation you can see that this document stands for either HTML or XML file, so in whichever file you are developing your project. So this refers to your HTML or XML document. And this object here, this signifies the different kinds of tags that you put. There is inside HTML, there are certain tags out there: H1 tag, paragraph tag, H2 tag, H3 tag, we have image tag. So this object represents here the tags and the different kinds of attributes. So we have, for image we have the source attribute. Inside anchor tag we have href attribute. So this object comprises the different kinds of HTML tags and attributes. And lastly, the model here comprises, guys, the data that you store inside those HTML or XML documents. So the different kinds of data, your headings, your images, your paragraphs. So the actual text that you write inside those headings and paragraphs comprise of this model. So these three things comprise of the DOM terminology. So now you can see that, guys, this is a sample diagram of the HTML DOM representation. You can see that for every HTML document we have a root element of HTML, and we have, you can see inside HTML root element we have two child elements, which is head and the body tag. And for each web page we have the title property. So you can see inside the head element we have the child property title. So this is the text we have given to the title, which is my title. So this is a text node, you can see. And inside the body we have two child elements, which is the anchor element and the h1 heading. So the heading is my header and the anchor element has a href property, and the link is my link. So this is a sample pictorial representation of HTML document that you see inside the internet. You visit any website, this is basically the browser constructs this diagram in the background to understand the DOM element for any web page. And now guys, similarly, you can see that this is a pictorial representation of a sample XML document here. So you can see inside every XML document, we have a root element. So inside this diagram, you can see the root element is message. And inside this, we have the child elements from to, subject, body, and body has a type attribute. So we have the text nodes here for each of these child elements. For the body, we have, this is the body of the message. For the subject, this is the subject of the message. To, which is wherever you are sending the email address, and from property. So this is a pictorial representation of a sample XML document here. So guys, so you can see that in each of the DOM diagrams, we have the parent element, we have the child element. So this is a pictorial representation, you can see that. So now you can see that, guys, this is a browser representation of a HTML DOM here. So basically this is a button here and a heading here. So if you right click and inspect element, guys, you can see it is the browser constructs this DOM automatically inside this browser. So we have this DOM, document object model. You can see we have this HTML tag, head tag, body tag, and inside this we have this h1 tag and the button tag. And the nice thing about this, guys, DOM element, basically you can manipulate the CSS properties, you can manipulate the JavaScript properties as well. So inside this animation, you can see that we are manipulating the CSS properties. You can see the bootstrap classes which are attached to this button, BT and BTN primary. If you remove this class from this dynamically, you will see the blue color of the button will be removed. So in this case, you can dynamically add removed CSS. You can also create some dynamic elements using JavaScript, using the DOM methods that we will discuss in the next slide. So this is a pictorial representation of the DOM that the browser constructs every time that you load the web page. You just need to right click inspect element. If you want to study the DOM of any web page, right click, go to inspect element and go to the element that you want to access the properties of. So now guys, after understanding what is DOM, now we will be in this slide, we will be showing you what is the practical use of DOM. Why do we need to understand DOM? What is the practical use of that? So you can see inside these two animations, you will get to understand. If you want to change the background color by pressing a button, so if you can see inside, if I press the change background color, automatically the background color of the web page change to red color. And also if you like look at the second example, if I click this button, my text automatically changed. So how it is happening, you need to study that. It is happening because of the DOM APIs that the browser offers you. So the browser automatically constructs this DOM in the background, and it offers you these methods using JavaScript. In the next slide, we will be showing you all the methods that is available as a developer for us, which lets you do these automatic nice things in the browser inside your application. So in a nutshell, DOM API allows you to change the CSS properties dynamically and also access these HTML elements, these buttons, these body, and these paragraph text automatically. If you want to change the background color, if you press the button, you will need to access the DOM by using the methods we will discuss in the later slide. And in a nutshell, it is used to change CSS properties, access HTML elements, and also if you want to create dynamic elements. Let's suppose you want to create a dynamic button. If the user lands on a particular page, you need to create a button, you need to create a paragraph, you need to create dynamic images. For doing that purpose, guys, this is the DOM API is required. You need to understand what is first of all DOM. So now guys, in this slide, we will be showing you the 9 different methods of the DOM that offered by every browser inside your HTML document by JavaScript. So the first method, guys, basically if you want to target your HTML document, if you want to target any specific element by using its ID. So there is an ID attribute that you can give to any HTML tag. So this is get element by ID. So it will target that element. You need to just provide the ID. The second method, guys, is get elements by tag name. So basically it will return all the elements of a particular tag. Let's suppose I only want all the h1 heading. So I will simply pass the h1 tag. If let's suppose if you only want the all the images tag, so you will just pass the image tag. So this will just return an array of elements. So the third element, guys, if you want to create a dynamic element using JavaScript, you will now create it using this document.create element method. So you will just provide which element you want to create. You can create image tag, paragraph tag, heading tag, all these elements you can create. And then we have append child, guys. So basically append simply means that you need to append content to an existing element. So let's suppose we have some heading already there inside the HTML. We need to append some more content to it. So we will use this method append child. Then we have remove child, guys. So let's suppose we have a UL element unordered list and we need to remove some list items from it. So we will we will call this method remove child, and we will simply pass the li element. So this will remove the child from the parent. Then we have the sixth method, guys, get attribute. So let's suppose we want to get a specific attribute value from a HTML element. So let's suppose we have given a source attribute to the image element, so we need to get the source attribute. So we will use this method get attribute. So this will get the actual source attribute from the image element. And lastly, seventh will be set attribute. This is simply the reverse. So if you want to set the attribute dynamically, you can call this method of set attribute inside your JavaScript document. And lastly, if you want to work with HTML forms, guys, if you want to get the value which the user has entered inside the HTML document, you will use this API methods that it provides you document.forms. So it contains a series of methods. If you want to explore more about it, you can read the documentation. It will contain all these methods. And lastly, guys, if you want to manipulate the inner HTML property of a specific HTML element, you will have the inner HTML. There is also a inner text property also. So based upon that, if you want to manipulate the HTML or text property, you will call these 9 methods. So this is all about DOM, guys, in this whiteboard video. So thank you very much for watching this.